Welcome back on gaming. This is Devin, and it's a week right before the Video Game Awards, which is on December 9th on Thursday. So, what I just wanted to do was go ahead and look at the games that were recognized for Game of the Year, along with the year itself and a little bit about the awards. So, let's first look at the games. So, we have Deathloop Takes Two, Metroid Dread, Psychonauts 2, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and then Resident Evil Village. So, first game, Deathloop, of course, which is a 10 out of 10 game by everybody, or at least all the critics. This game here, what first got me off about this game was how many times it was showed at all the events. And it looks like a decent game at first, but then, of course, it just turned me completely off after how many times I saw it and it just wasn't coming out. And then, of course, it did finally come out to a bunch of critical praises and that. And then, of course, we had the players, the ones that actually played this game, the gamers. And they gave it, I think, just around a 60%. So we know what gamers really thought. Then we have It Takes Two, which is an EA game. I believe it's one of their smaller studios. Can't really say anything about this game. Then we have Metroid Dread, which of course is a Nintendo game. Very anticipated game series, all that good stuff. Hasn't been a Metroid game in a while, or series game in a while. So of course, yeah, Metroid Dread. Then next we have Psychonauts 2, which it looks like it's an Xbox Game Studios game. Pretty, I would say, anticipated game as well, just because it is a Psychonauts game. And of course, the first one came out so long ago that it's good there's a second one, I guess, now. Then we have Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which of course is a game a lot of people heard about this year with a lot of the controversy with the main characters there. And of course, from a lot of people, this game is a pretty decent game. Then we have the last game on here, which is Resident Evil Village, which is probably the game I've seen the most of this year, just because of all the great content by people on YouTube, Twitch as well, with a lot of the fun live streams with people just getting scared, and it just looks like a really great game. What game I would probably say would be Game of the Year, or that I think is Game of the Year, is probably Metroid Dread. The reason why I say that is that it's Metroid, Nintendo, never go wrong with either one of those. And of course, it was a pretty big game, and a lot from what I saw of it looks a lot of fun. To be honest, I've not purchased any of these games that are on the Game of the Year, but if I were to purchase one, I'd probably purchase Metroid Dread. And actually, if I were to say the top 3 games that I would purchase this year, or out of this category, it would probably be Metroid Dread, Ratchet and Clank, and then Resident Evil Village. And it's just because those games look like a blast, or at least from the people I saw playing these games. So, but the main thing I really want to talk about with this is that I don't know if it's just myself or just what I've been seeing, but of course, with all these games that are for Game of the Year, it's very interesting that we got these games. If you were looking at maybe last year or the beginning of this year, if you would have saw this list for Game of the Year, it would be, you would think it'd be very underwhelming. And I mean, we got Ratchet and Clank is one of the Game of the Year games. Not to, knock that game for anything, but, it's Ratchet and Clank. So that's one of the things I would say that's interesting about this year in gaming. And then the other thing too is that, I mean, how many of these games have you purchased? How many of these games were you excited for? I think is another thing. Like I said, I have not purchased any of these games, but there were a couple that I did want to purchase, but there was none that were telling me to purchase it. So of course, I think that's sort of an issue. And of course, in the past, I've bought in so many great games. Um, just like last year, Ghost of Tsushima was just a game I had to purchase day one. But then I think the problem is just a lot of these games that you purchase that have just burned you. So, of course, we have Cyberpunk 2077. We have The Last of Us Part 2. A lot of EA games, a lot of Battlefield games now. So, I mean, it's sort of hard to want to purchase some of these games just because we don't know really how it's going to turn out. And, of course, when the gaming or the developers really don't care about their fans or anything like that, why should we purchase their games? So, of course, that's pretty much all I have to say about Game of the Year this year, and just just a year in itself. But let me know what you think. If you purchase any of these games, what game you think is Game of the Year. Like, subscribe, all that great stuff, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.